Hey guys, welcome to the Out Jeeping YouTube channel. My name's Austin, and in today's video we're going to be continuing to work on this 1978 Jeep J10 truck. Now in today's video we're going to be replacing the alternator so that way we can keep the battery nice and charged. So let's get started. Alright guys, before this video gets started, I do want to mention today's video sponsor, and that is Yida Motor. Now Yida Motor sent out Orijo floor mats so you guys can get for your vehicle. Now what I have here today is some custom floor liners for a 4th gen Ram quad cab, and so far I'm very impressed with the quality. It definitely doesn't break the bank like some other higher brands out there, and if you guys want to get some for yourself for whatever vehicle, they make them for multiple vehicles out there. I got a discount code for 20% off your order now through the end of June 2021. So if you guys want to check it out and order some floor mats for your vehicle, I got the link in the description below. But as right now, let's get to the video. Alright, so this is the new alternator that we're going to be replacing over here on the truck, and it's a general 63 amp alternator. This one is remanufactured by Pure Energy. So basically it's pretty simple on installing this. We pretty much just got 2 bolts. They come with new hardware for the 1 bolt, and then they got a longer bolt that we're going to be reusing over on the truck. Now on the back side over here we got our connection for our positive lead that's going to go straight to our battery, and if you have an optional ground cable you can hook that up over here, and that's going to ground out the case for the alternator in case you don't have a good ground through these bolts over here. Now over here we got 2 prongs, and this is basically going to be ignition controlled. So basically when you have the car running, it's going to basically turn on the alternator so that way it's charging when the engine is only running. So for my application, I don't have a separate ground cable, so we just basically have 3 wires to hook up to this. We got our positive and our 2 ignition wires over here. So let's go over to the Jeep and we'll take a look at the old one and remove it. Alright, so looking at our old alternator, you can see it's located over here on the passenger side of the engine on this 360 V8, and our big bolt is going to be up here. So basically we want to start off by cracking that free, and then we have the smaller bolt on the bottom which is actually adjustable in its slide, which puts tension on our belt right here. Since this is a V-belt system, we don't have any automatic tensioners. It's not like a serpentine belt system. So all these belts you can manually tension by adjusting the position that the alternator's in. So for this alternator, I currently don't have it hooked up. I just redid all the engine harness over here yesterday. So I got my new alternator charge cable. So I got my 2 ignition plugs right here. And originally on the Jeep they had this clip connector that would go into those 2 ignition leads on the alternator. But as you can see with the wiring that was on this, it actually broke inside here. So I just went and remade some, and a simple female spade connector is going to work for this. You just want to make sure you have it flipped in the correct position. So once again, I'm going to start off and just crack this one free, and then I'm going to remove the bottom one and then pull off the belt because it's going to release tension on the belt, and then we can finish taking this off and remove the old alternator. So before I get started, I should also mention that you want to disconnect your battery. I currently don't have the battery in the vehicle, just in case something shorts out like our positive lead over here, but I don't have a fuse in my main alternator cable right now, but you still want to remove the battery. So to start off with this bolt up here, it's going to be a 9/16, so I'm going to see if I can crack that free. That's actually nice and loose. Alright, so with that broken free, we're going to move to the bottom. I'll show you guys that bottom down there where it holds tension on our belt, and then we can remove the belt from the system. Alright, so over here on the underside of the engine, right here is our alternator, and you can see our 1/2-inch bolt right here. This is basically holding the belt tension. So I'm going to take that off with just a 1/2-inch socket, and then this should be pretty much loose. And now I'm just going to remove this one all the way, and then we'll continue from the top and remove the alternator. So just to show you guys, since this bolt is in a track slot over here, you can see that this thing rotates and then it creates tension on that belt. Alright, so now we can rotate our alternator all the way back, and we should be able to pop off this pulley. We don't need to completely remove it, but just kind of leave it hanging there until we get the rest of the alternator removed. So I'm going to finish backing off this 9/16 bolt right here. We're going to pop that out of place, and then we'll see the best way to fish this out of the engine bay. So once it's free of the threads, we can pull out on the bolt. It's going to be nice and long. Put that to the side, and then there's going to be a spacer behind here. We're going to grab that, set it off here, and then just kind of wiggle the old alternator out of place. It might be easier just to let it down below. Alright, so now I'm going to take our new alternator and fit it into place. I'm going to see if I can come here from the top, otherwise we'll fit it in from the bottom. Alright, so now we're just going to orientate it where the old one was, and I'm going to put this big bolt in there first. I put some anti-seize on there since it goes into the engine block. I don't want that to seize up, as well as the casing on the alternator is aluminum, so I don't want the steel bolt to corrode in there. So we'll take our bolt and then stick our aluminum spacer behind it between the engine block and the alternator. And then we can push it all the way in. And then kind of jiggle it around till it lines up with the hole on the block. Alright, so I'll just tighten this up a bit, but leave it a little bit of slack in there so we can get the bottom bolt in and tension our belt. Alright, so I got that bottom bolt just threaded in. It's still loose, so you can see it has some adjustment. So now I'm going to take our belt and route it over our pulley. Just like that, and now we're going to go underneath, tighten up that one bolt while keeping tension on this belt right here, and that way we shouldn't have any problems with the belt slipping. Alright, so we got our bolt right here, so that's just threaded in a little bit. So I'm just going to tighten it up, and then I'll put some tension on this and then finish tightening it down. So right there is good, and I'll finish tightening it down. Alright, so now we can go ahead and finish tightening up this bolt up here. Unfortunately, I can't do that because this is actually stripped out in the cylinder head over here, which is not good really because it's not holding it nice and securely. It still has a little bit of wiggle room in there. So at a later time, I'm definitely going to have to go in here and install a helicoil inside the cylinder head to be able to thread this in. But for now, we're just going to continue and hook up the electrical now. So I'm going to start off with the main positive power cable, and that goes to this bolt back here. So I'm going to take this bolt off and slide on our connector. And now we can tighten this up. This is going to be a 7/16 inch nut. Alright, so now we can hook up our two little spade connectors that are going to be down here. Might be kind of hard to see, but basically I'm going to refer to this clip that I took off of here, and I labeled the new wires over here. So our black one is going to go towards the top. That's how this is going to be orientated. So I'm going to take our spade, plug that one in, and then I'll take our red, which is going to go over on the bottom. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Now the last thing we got to do is go hook up the battery and test it out and see if we got a charge. Alright, so before we install the battery, I got to throw in our alternator fuse right here. So I'm just going to pop off this cover and take off these nuts and then slip our fuse in. Alright, so now we can put our cover back on, and now we can go and install our battery. Alright, so we got our brand new Interstate battery. Second one it got, because yesterday I bought a brand new one and turns out it had a bad cell in it, so they replaced it with this one. Alright, so let's go start it up. We'll put a multimeter on this and see if it's charging. We're at 14.5 volts right now. Alright, so that's going to be a wrap for today's shorter video. We got the new alternator in and it's charging, so that's the main goal. So that way the battery's not dying on us all the time. So we got a nice 14.5 volts up here at the battery, so we know that it's charging. But I'm definitely going to have to go back and fix that one bolt with either a helicoil or maybe just drill it out for a larger bolt. Because as this was running, it was a little bit shaky on there since it's really only held in by one bolt. The whole belt system on this thing is pretty sketchy because the main water pump needs to be replaced because you can move the fan back and forth with the whole belt drive. So definitely a lot of work coming here in the near future. As always, I'll post a link in the description below on the parts that I use in this video. So if you guys want to help support the channel, I got some out Jeeping decals both in this J10 as well as some XJ decals on my Etsy page at Out Jeeping. I'll post a link in the description below on where you can find that as well. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Out Jeeping YouTube channel for more how-to videos. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to post them below. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.